Hola, ¿cómo está? ¿Y tú bien?
¿Cómo estás, mi hermanos y hermanas? How y'all doing, man?
Hello.
Hey, listen, cause y'all are sisters and brothers too. Shit,
Everywhere.
Money talked in our language. Shit, dollar, peso,
Okay.
yen,
Dinero.
dinero,
Mucho dinero.
Yeah, dinero. Yo quiero dinero. Yo quiero dinero. Yo quiero dinero. That's J-Lo and Cardi B shit.
Okay.
That's all hard in a motherfucker. Hey, shout out to the Puerto Ricanos.
Okay.
And Dominicanos.
Just in case you don't know, you are in Ebonic Economics.
Oh, yeah. We didn't even tell y'all that.
Okay.
We're here. Ebonic Economics. Ebonic Economics. And I am Red.
And this is Shay.
And we is here.
And the words that's coming out of our mouth are
Can you
Ebonically speaking.
Ebonically speaking. This is money talked in our language.
All the time.
Is y'all doing okay?
Is you okay? Check your temperature.
I'm doing. Hold on.
Check your temperature.
Oh, I'm a little warm.
Okay, y'all good?
I'm a little peaky.
Cause see, we keep our haters hot.
I'm a Southern
We
belle.
keep our haters at 103.
I keep them haters at 103 degrees. They are always hot at me.
Always.
I make them feel like they're having hot flashes from their toes to their head.
Okay.
Hot and red. No, y'all don't remember that. Okay, no, listen.
So, next level.
We turned. I hope y'all caught that last episode. I hope you guys caught the last episode or the episode before that. Which one is it? The business entity?
The last episode was our expungement.
Yes,
But the one before that was the business entities.
Yes.
And I hope that even our guys with our felons and sisters with our felons take a look at that, because like we said, if all else fails, you start your own. So, and you could go.
If don't nobody want to hire you, hire yourself.
Exactly, and create opportunities for you. So what we gonna go over in this episode is starting to really think through that and understanding all the information you need in order to start getting ready to execute your business.
Right, because now that you've watched that episode and you have decided if you're going to open an LLC, a corp, or DBA, or whatever, you've decided the business entity that you are going to start. And so now you want to take the next steps to make that dream come to fruition.
Exactly. And the first thing we need, we all start with an idea.
Right.
We all have an idea, whether your product, whatever your product is. But in order to get started, you're going to need startup funds, a startup cost, startup finances.
You're going to need some change.
Or what else they like to call it is seed money.
Seed money.
So,
what you're planting.
Yeah, it's seed, exactly.
Water it with your work.
You
water. It grows into success.
Water with your work.
Hey,
water with your work. Hey, water with your work.
Water.
Hey, I like that. Okay. So seed money or startup money, whatever you want to call it, you have to decide what that is.
Right.
And basically, startup money is the money that you need
to start up your business.
Exactly.
And the best thing for you to do is really sit down. You gotta have a journal. Listen, you gotta be writing stuff down. Either you're writing it or you're typing it. Whatever you're doing, you need to be keeping record and note of what it is that you're trying to accomplish, because when you're able to go back and look at it, it just helps you keep things organized. Organization is key to this. You can't have missed a step. You want to write down what you do, write down what you need to do. Check stuff off as you go along. So write down what you need, what it's going to take to start up.
So a few of the things that we can go over that needed to be compiled in your or tabulated in your startup costs will your LLC, whatever entity that's going to be that you're going to start up, that cost, whether it be the $70 cost, the $35 cost, whatever that cost is, that's a cost.
And you write that down.
Whatever your product is, how much is it going to cost you if you have a wholesale license? If you don't, how much is that product, that initial startup product, not your long haul, but the initial that you would need in order to start your business? How much would that cost you? Some people have very limited startup costs. It's just them and their time, and they can get it started.
Right.
But you still need that business entity money. What else would they need as far as starting the product cost, marketing cost,
And these are all estimations.
These are just estimations and ideas of things that you might want to put in.
And it's gonna cost for you to have to sit down and do research once you decide what you're selling. But see, your startup cost is gonna vary based on what you do. Let's say, you know, you're gonna sell sweatshirts and you wanna start with 100. So you take your money, you go buy 100 sweatshirts. And that's a startup cost. However, it's going to cost to cost those sweatshirts. Are you going to have a design put on those? How much is it going to cost to have a design put on that 100 sweatshirts? You have to calculate that and write that down. Okay, it's going to be $50 to do put your 2 letters on your sweatshirts, and it's going to be $3 per sweatshirt or $5 per sweatshirt. You got 100, so that's $500. It's $50 to put the logo or design on all 100 sweatshirts. So now you're at what?
850. You said 350.
Right? $350. Yeah, you're at $350 or $550.
Yeah, you said
I said 500
plus the
and then
350.
plus 50. What's 350?
I thought you said 350 to put the 2 shirts. I guess I was.
No, 500 for the shirts. You're gonna get 500 sweatshirts at $5 a shirt.
$500.
$500. You got a place that's gonna charge you $50 to put a design, a picture, a logo on all 500 of your sweatshirts. So that's $550.
Yeah.
So now you're at an initial cost of $550 plus.
Oh, you said $50
50.
for all?
Yeah, because it might be a print. It might be something. It's just
Okay,
something
that's what I'm
just
thinking. Per
print.
shirt.
Yeah, no, $50 for them to do all 500
yeah.
t-shirts. And this is hypothetically.
This is just
I'm only
hypothetical.
using these
Yeah,
rounded
these are-
numbers for mathematical purposes,
Yes.
for easy calculation purposes. If you find somebody that puts a print on 500 items for $50,
You will.
give me their fucking
Please do.
Because I want to call them because I got some shit we need. This put on 500 and some shit for $50. So anyway, but
I get what you're saying now.
yeah, but no, I'm just using that. Yeah, now these are not realistic prices. Now the $5 for the sweatshirts, that's
Yeah,
realistic.
that's realistic.
But the $50 for somebody to put that on there, no, it's not. But again,
But
just for
the sake of-
addition purposes, and it's easy, we using so $550 is that startup cost plus the $70 if you was an LLC. So now you're at $620.
Mm-hmm.
So
And plus, like, if it's and then it depends on if you want to do a brick and mortar or
Yeah.
e-commerce, and
Okay.
we'll get to that. So
yeah,
whatever-
that's what's next.
Yeah,
Because
so
that's the
that-
next step. You want to decide, do I want to have a physical business location? If you do, that's a brick and mortar. And now you're going to have to look at how much it's going to cost to lease
The
your
lease.
location, and insurance depending on the type of business you have.
Phone.
So phone, cable, our internet, you gotta have Wi-Fi. I don't give a damn what kind of business you running. So you gotta look at all of those. That's increased startup costs when you have a brick and mortar or a physical location. Those are the same terms.
And if you're doing brick and mortar on your startup costs, let me suggest that you do a 3 to 6 month rent built into your startup costs. Because you don't know what that profit margin is going to be walking through your door. So when I create that startup cost for a brick and mortar, I would include 3 to 6 months worth of rent.
Right, as a cushion.
As a cushion,
As
yeah,
a cushion,
for
because
yourself.
very rarely do you open the doors and make a profit that month.
Exactly.
It's not like it takes time to build up. So those costs, if you're going to do advertisement and marketing, you're going to have to add that in there. Nowadays with social media, you can, it doesn't cost what it used to reach as many people. But if you're e-commerce, you don't have to worry about those costs.
Yeah, so you're not dealing with, you're not going to be dealing with the brick and mortar. You're not going to necessarily be dealing with utility costs other than if you store your stuff at a location.
Right.
You won't have to deal with a lot of city permit type things that you typically would deal with. Insurance.
Yeah.
You would eliminate a lot of things by just going e-commerce. Some businesses can't do that. Some thrive better. As a storefront, and some thrive better online.
Starbucks, they ain't gonna do good online.
No.
They need people to come inside to their brick and mortar and buy their coffee.
Exactly.
But Amazon,
Excellent online. If you're
That's
selling
all they gonna
shoes,
do.
you can
Yeah.
sell shoes online, clothes online, anything that can be shipped online. But like she said, hot coffee, don't think so.
That don't make any sense.
Like she said, that don't make any sense.
But we're just trying to give y'all a realistic examples and an understanding.
But even with the
Wait, just to get what we talking about. Okay, Kim.
Even with the e-commerce, you like with that startup cost, if you're using something like an Etsy, do they charge a monthly fee?
Right.
What is that monthly fee
Or
gonna be?
Shopify.
If you're or Shopify,
Yeah.
or if you're building your own website and
Yeah.
you're bringing
Web designer.
traffic
Yeah.
to your website, you have to create that that web page. So you have to come up with that cost.
Yeah, so
how
that's-
much is that gonna cost me?
And you write that down.
And you write that down.
Because
In the logo. A lot of times y'all create a logo, that's a cost. So
Yeah.
having that startup cost is key, because you don't want to be able to just pull in here, and then on top of that, it helps with budgeting and keeping you
Exactly.
within your budget and within your finance and understanding what you're spending
Right.
and what you're putting out there, what I need to spend. Okay, well last time I spent this amount
Yeah.
on the t-shirts, but now I was able to find a guy that could do it for $4.50. I could say,
Exactly.
so you keep those things and you have that startup cost outlined.
tabulated. Yeah, calculated, tabulated, written down so that you can continually reference it. And you always want to go back to the previous month from the following month and just see where you are as far as cost wise and earnings wise. But one thing that what did you say? You said something. What the hell went home?
She said, she got to hit her memory stick.
Okay. This is what it was. No, I'm joking.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank
When you got that e-commerce business, you're right. You don't have a lot of those costs. You're going to save a lot of money. But certain things, when you're doing it at home, now you don't have an outside internet. You could use the same one that you're using at home. But those startup costs for e-commerce, depending on what type of business you have, if you're not letting someone else do the stuff for you, then you need to have your own storage at your house. You're going to need to have, your own website. That's a cost for someone to come in and build your website. You got to have a web hosting service. That's an expense too. So as when you go on e-commerce, and then the secureness, because when you have, it has to be sold. Your processes have to be done through a secure server. You have to be able to guarantee to consumers that their information is not going to be stolen. So those are some startup costs for e-commerce. But you weigh what you're going to do. Depending on what your product is and what you're having to offer, what's best for you.
And you lay out them both. You lay out, what should I do, a brick and mortar right now? Should I do e-commerce? Because sometimes you can start in e-commerce to test out your product.
Yeah.
And then move on to a storefront if the demand is there.
Right.
Because you don't want to have some type of product in a storefront and you don't have, A, the demand is not there, and B, when you have a storefront, depending on what you're selling, is you need foot traffic.
The traffic, yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Location. When you open up a business, you probably have heard this another cliche that people say all the time, but it's really real game because it's all about where you're at. If you open up something in the middle of the desert and you have no traffic, chances are you're gonna be strapped unless you sell something.
Unless you spend a lot of money on marketing,
and you have something there that is
they really want,
really out of the ordinary that no one else has. But you open your business where it's a lot of foot traffic, you can almost guarantee a certain number of people will just peek in and then come in and patronize your establishment or shop at your store.
Exactly, and that can eliminate a lot of marketing costs. You can determine how much marketing dollars you need to spend because I have this foot traffic, and about 20% of revenue comes from foot traffic, and the rest I need to market.
The little stands down there at the pier, they ain't got no commercials.
Yeah.
But they know that people are going to be walking around down there. You think about the stores at the Santa Monica Pier, all of that stuff. They ain't no commercials for none of that. But they know that their business thrives because it's a lot of foot traffic.
They pay prime real estate.
Oh, listen.
But it's worth it.
It costs.
Because you're going to get people from all over the world to walk in your store and touch your product, especially when you're dealing with travelers.
Yes, tourists.
Thank you.
Yes.
I lost the train of thought. Tourists.
Okay.
And they're going to come in and buy stuff just because I bought it from here. So foot traffic is everything. Yeah. Foot traffic is everything when you have that brick and mortar, unless you're trying to do some type of secret shop.
It's the same thing. Most places in the mall
Oh,
They
yes.
don't advertise.
Yeah,
I mean,
they
so
don't
most of the small
majors,
places
yeah.
don't. The large places, you're gonna see Macy's, you're gonna see Nordstrom's, you're gonna see there. But the other shit on the inside of there, they ain't got no commercials. Once in a while, you might see a Foot Locker
Journeys.
commercial.
You don't never see a Journey commercial,
never
do you?
seen a Journey
But you know
commercial.
Journey.
Baby, I know that. Because they got unique shit
They do.
in
I
there
love Journey.
that you can go in there and buy. But we're just saying, it's a location. If you decide to do a brick and mortar, and you're gonna have to pay based on where you at. You know, it might be like, oh, I got this. It's a good deal. I ain't gotta pay but $150 a month. Yeah, but you
Because you're gonna have to drive your own traffic.
Listen, your building is located on a dead end, and ain't nothing else on the block but you. Of course, it's $150 a month, and you gotta drive people there. What you gonna do? That's how people put big ass signs, and you know. I don't know if a show that I really like to watch, and I'm gonna give him some. I don't know, but I like to watch it. But it's Bar Rescue.
Okay.
And that man go in there and take these people with their bars and they fucked up attitudes and relationships, and he whips their ass into shape. But when one of the things he looks at is where you're at and where
Your
you're located,
location.
and what do we need to do to drive people here, you know. And then another thing, one he always looks at is what we're going to go into, which is next with us, is the demographics. Right? You have to know if you're going to do brick and mortar. Now, e-commerce, pretty much.
Well, you still have to know.
You still want to know who you're marketing
to your
but-
customers.
But what your reach is broad.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're in a brick and mortar, you have to know who you dealing with, who's traveling through your area. What is your demographic of the people that are in the X number of mile radius of within your location?
And does it align with your product and your demographics?
Exactly.
Who you don't want to have a surfboard shop downtown LA.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Or
Like,
you don't want to have a surfboard shop in a location where in a 4 square mile radius, most of your residents that live in this area are 65 and older.
yeah.
So,
pointless.
you know, these are the types of things that when you're going to open up an actual physical location, unless it's in the mall, unless it's on the boardwalk or something, you really want to take those things into consideration. Don't just jump into a place because it was a good price. Make sure that you're going to be able to get the customers you need to make your business
Now,
successful.
on the flip side of that, if you've created your e-commerce business and it's booming and it's going, you can drive people to your brick and mortar because you already have a following.
Yeah.
And you may be bringing
and now
the
they
foot
want to
traffic.
come see you.
Yeah, so you may bring that foot traffic, but that's the reason why you kind of test out your market.
Yeah.
And even with the e-commerce, with your product, you want to know your demographics. When you have a product or a service, who are you serving?
Selling to. Who is it for?
Yeah, who is this product for? What's the age group? What's their income background? All of these things are important. Don't get into it like, well, I don't want to, but no, when you're selling things, you
It's
want
a
to know
science.
who you're selling
Listen,
to.
at the end of the day, it is all a science. It is all a science, and it's a formula. It boils down to it being the formula. Do what you need, what you sell, plus what they need, plus where you have it at, plus can they reach it?
Exactly.
Equals dollars.
Just like if you have a lipstick, Red has a red lipstick, and she wants to sell each one of her lipsticks for $100. Would her demographic be 9001 or 9002, which is Watts? No. They're not going to buy a $100 lipstick.
Right.
You're going to have a demographic with the income bracket of 100,000 or more. The income medium and the household medium is at a certain income level.
Exactly.
Certain age group. We know that women between the ages of 25 and 52 will buy that makeup, will buy a $100 lipstick. They see the value in a $100 lipstick.
Yeah.
So those are the kinds of things you're looking at. Household
I'm not going to put my
income
store by
needs.
Leisure World.
No. A bargain value.
Yeah.
I'm selling $100 makeup. You know what I'm saying?
I can't go next to the 99-cent store.
That's not gonna work. She's gonna have to go on Rodeo Road or as close as she can get. She probably can't get on Rodeo. She probably can't get on Rodeo, but she can probably get a few
because
streets
there's shops
before.
right there. But see, those shops on Rodeo, And, you know, that's another.
She may go Melrose.
Foot traffic,
You know.
Melrose or Rodeo. Yeah, I might go on Melrose.
She may go Melrose.
I can get in the boutique.
Yeah.
Fashion. You know, because hey, shit, you gotta take that chance. But
But on the flip side of that, if you selling $7.99 bandanas or hats, you're not gonna go on fucking Rodeo. First of all, just because your hat is $7, I ain't want to buy $7.
yeah, it
So
don't-
you're gonna
it don't
your
cost enough for
demographic
them.
is gonna be over here. So understand that household income medians is a great thing to know, because you need to know when you're put your store in a certain area.
Yeah.
If it's a brick and mortar, you know you can research.
All of this is public information.
Yeah, you can
The
research
median income
in that area.
of the area. All of that, it comes down to research.
Mhm.
And again, you need to be sitting down with your journal and say, okay, I know that the median household income for zip code 90047 is approximately $42,000 to $58,000 a year. Okay, that what you using that to do is calculate how much extra money they got to spend on the shit you selling.
Mhm.
So you know, it's like I said, it's a science. You really got to dig deep, and you know, you can run out there and just open up something and be like, oh yeah, they like this, woo woo woo, and sometimes that might work. But if you want to do this for the long run and you really want to get your money and your business up under your belt, these are things that you want to sit down, learn, research, and know, and have solid before you run out here and put your money, because you don't want to waste your time or your money.
No.
Who
And
wants-
with
who does that?
e-commerce, you
Yeah.
really, it's demographics you want to know with e-commerce, but you want to know geographical areas, because when you do
Right.
those Instagram ads and
I
things
was
like
just gonna
that,
say, Google ads,
you want
all
to
of
be
that.
able to say, okay, I'm not getting no traffic from Wisconsin and South Dakota.
Right.
I'm not going to keep spending
Money.
ad money over there. I'm getting a lot of traffic and conversions from
From
Florida.
Atlanta and Miami.
Or, oh yeah, Oklahoma. I'm getting, so
Oklahoma.
you're going to start spending more of your marketing dollars over there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You want to start spending more of your marketing dollars with
Over there,
them.
yeah.
And because they're
Where they
giving you
paying
more of a
attention.
return.
Yes, exactly.
So
Okay.
that's when you want to start. And when you get those, especially if you're doing e-commerce, even if you have brick and mortar, you can do online, Instagram, Google ads. But the great thing about it is, in the back end, it gives you all this. We talking about the demographics, the geographics, who clicked
They
on
tell
it,
you.
whether it was female or
Yeah.
male,
Yes.
how long did they stay on your page,
So
how
you
many
can learn
pages did they click
Who's
through.
really interested in your product?
It's called
by using
analytics.
those. Yes, analytics. So, and then let's get this out of the way too.
Go.
Everything that we've told you that will cost you money to start up your business is a tax deduction for your business.
There you go.
You're going to be able to claim this as if you spend all this money. If you spend $11,000 or if you spend $47,000 to open up your brick and mortar, or if you spend $22,000 to open up your e-commerce situation, whatever you spend, $2,200, whatever, it's a business expense. It is now a tax a tax write-off. It's a tax deduction, and because it's money that you put into the economy. And if you didn't make it back, then they could subsidize you.
Yes.
And that's how you end up getting a refund. So you won't have to pay that $800 that we've all been talking about.
Exactly.
But yeah, so it's, you know, the money you get is, if you don't make it, it's not going to be a total loss.
No.
You know, because the government is there for you for trying. For trying.
For trying, you put this
Listen.
out, you put forth the effort, you didn't make the money. We
You
want
spent
you to
the
continue
money.
to go.
We don't want you to be out of that. Keep going. Here's a little something.
So
But
just be prepared. You have your business entity set up. The next thing you want to do is get your goals and objectives together for your business.
a mission statement.
And mission statement. And then you want to get your startup costs. You want to figure out what that startup cost is. You want to sit down, do the research, go over the numbers, and just don't write estimates. Don't just go with the first one.
Right.
Find three. Try to find a couple of different resources. Like I said, if you're getting a sweatshirt place, don't go with the first one. See if you can find that deal somewhere,
Right.
and you write those numbers down and try to think of every little thing, even if it's travel costs.
Right.
If you know that I
Gas
have
money.
to travel from here to San Bernardino to buy
Right.
these shirts,
Yes.
that's part of your startup cost.
Yes, write down your mileage. You
Write
can
down
claim
that mileage, because you want to have a clear understanding on what it costs to start this business, because God willing, your business is successful and you have to replicate this process again.
And you already know, well, you know what? The last time I got everything wrote over here in my journal. Let me go back to my journal that they told me to keep on Ebonic Economics. I got all the costs right here. This was 2 years ago, so this will be an estimate, but it cost me approximately X number of dollars. So you already have a ballpark figure of what you're going to need to do your next thing that's along those lines. So again, keeping that is important, that information. That's why we say write it down. But once you start and you get all this stuff into play, then you open your doors, or you launch your website and you sell your shit.
Exactly.
Period.
You execute. And you execute. Then your next step is you go to marketing.
Yes.
That'll be a whole nother episode.
Right.
On the different ways of marketing and what you need to do.
Because after you did all of that,
And once you do all of that and everything is good to go, you need to get some eyes on your business and what you're doing.
Because the more people that know about what you're doing, the more chances you have of them patronizing your business.
Holla.
They can't do it if they don't know.
So, what we go over today?
Ooh, girl, we went over a lot. I hope y'all sunk it in.
Homework.
Homework.
Do you want an e-commerce business
Or brick and
mortar? Write that down. Write 2 columns.
Right now.
E-commerce, brick and mortar.
Right now, well, because of this COVID stuff, e-commerce is what's popping. You know what I'm saying? And it's a much easier thing to start up these
And that
days.
depends on your product.
If you got a skating rink, you ain't gonna be able to do that on e-commerce.
Yeah, yeah. So that
You
that
need
all
brick and
depends
mortar
on your
for your
commerce. Or
skateboard,
you
but,
fix motorbikes or whatever the case may be. You may need that brick and mortar, and there's ways around that. But look at both sides. You see what I'm saying? Look at both sides. Do I really want to do this? Do I need this? What is it going to take to do this? What is it going to take to do that? Create starting costs for both.
Right.
And see what you can actually pull off and see what you can actually do.
Right. And then let's say this though, because sometimes your some of the most successful businesses in this world, their first brick and mortar was in that garage or in that living room.
That's what I was gonna say too.
In that basement or in that backyard. So
don't be shamed
if that's what it's gotta be. That's what it's gotta be. You know what I'm saying? And
don't be afraid to set up a restaurant in your backyard. Don't tell nobody.
Hey, listen. Jeff Bezos started Amazon in his garage.
That part, $1 billion company today. So don't be so. That's what I'm saying. If it has to be a brick and mortar, a motorbike shop, now go back to our episodes. Think of the resources that you have. I got a garage.
Yeah, exactly. Like shit, I can't afford no.
I'm already paying the rent at my house. Maybe I should just continue to use the rent.
What do I already got that I can use right now?
That's an episode. We done that. Go check the episode.
You have to check that shit out.
I'm telling you.
If you had listened, you would already know. The only people who didn't listen is the ones who don't know.
That part.
But hey, listen, we just giving y'all some real life game.
That's
Period.
it. And the next part of the homework, because I ain't finished, so you're doing them 2 lines. Then the next thing I want you to do and write down is what geographical areas you think you will serve with your product, your business, or your service, and who in those demographics, the age, race, and income medium, because those things are important. You target by age, race, and income medium.
Exactly.
Period. And this is nothing discriminative about it.
Because it's about who shops, who buys what, who is into what you have, can they afford to buy what you have and what you offer. This is nothing but the science of making your money.
You're not going to go sell your hip-hop rap album Too Short to the church. You're just not going to do it.
You can try.
You can try it.
You might have a couple passes.
But I don't think you want to go there.
That twerk on Sunday night after service is over. That's how they be. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna get on them, but y'all know y'all.
Okay, so you got your homework, brick and mortar, outline or e-commerce, or outline your demographics, okay? And income medium. There she go, raising her hand. She's tapping out. She's tapping out, people.
Shit.
Red didn't turn red, y'all.
That's my name.
All right, so Ebonic Economics.
Ebonic Economics.
Money talked in your language.
Money talked in
Get it
your
worked
language,
out,
our
get it
language.
ready. These are steps, one foot in front of the other means that you just made your next step. So every little thing that you do is a step towards greatness.
2 steps forward and 1 step back. It's still 1 step forward. Never forget that. Ebonic economics, man.